All right, get this. We've got a deep dive today on something seriously cool. You know all those articles and videos you sent about the future of virtual and mixed reality?
Hmm.
Well, buckle up because we've got the inside scoop on Samsung's secret Android XR headset. You've heard about Apple's Vision Pro, right?
Oh, yeah. Everyone's talking about that.
Well, Samsung's been cooking up something in collaboration with Google, and it sounds like a total game changer.
Yeah, definitely some serious competition brewing.
We've dug through a bunch of tech reviews and early impressions to pull out the juiciest bits for you. Get ready for some aha moments. We're talking about the potential future of how we interact with technology.
It's always exciting to see what's coming next, right?
Now, our main source today is an exclusive hands-on video from tech YouTuber Marquise Brownlee.
Oh, yeah. MKBHD, he's great. Really in-depth stuff.
Yeah, he's known for those deep dives. So let's jump right in. The first thing that struck me was the hardware design.
Right off of the bat, it looks a lot like the Apple Vision Pro from the front.
Yeah, like those light-colored fabrics and the big reflective glass panel, almost like they're saying, hey, we're here to play in the big leagues.
It's definitely intentional positioning this headset as a direct competitor.
But there's one key difference. No outward-facing screen showing the user's eyes.
Interesting choice, right?
Yeah, I wonder if that was a deliberate move to address those privacy concerns some folks had with the Vision Pro. What do you think?
It could be privacy is a huge consideration in this space, and this design choice certainly sends a message.
Absolutely. And then there's the back of the headset. It's got this cup-like design, kind of similar to the MetaQuest Pro.
Yeah, much more comfortable fit, I bet.
Yeah, comfort is key when you're talking about spending hours in the virtual world. But here's what I found really interesting, how modular they've made this thing. You've got that removable forehead rest and a magnetic light shield.
Oh, wow, that's clever.
It's like they're saying, hey, customize your experience, make it your own.
Yeah, that modularity is smart. It broadens their potential market by catering to different needs and preferences.
You could use it for gaming productivity, watching movies, whatever you're into.
Exactly.
And then there's the battery pack. It's external, like the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
But get this, it uses a removable USB Type-C cable.
Well, hold on. That's a game changer.
It is, right. It means you're not locked into Samsung's battery system. You can use any compatible power source.
Brilliant move. They're essentially opening up the ecosystem by not locking you into their own proprietary battery system.
Exactly. Freedom to choose. But let's be real, the hardware is just one piece of the puzzle. What really sets this headset apart is the software, Android XR.
Now, that's where things get really interesting. It's a collaboration between Google and Samsung, and it has the potential to be a major disruptor in the XR world.
Think of it as Google's answer to Apple's Vision OS.
Exactly. They're leveraging the familiarity and vast ecosystem of Android to create a user-friendly and accessible XR experience.
So anyone who's used an Android phone will feel right at home.
Pretty much. It's all about that ease of use and low learning curve. Picking up this headset should feel intuitive for millions of people already familiar with Android.
So smart, right? It removes that learning curve that can be a barrier to entry for new technology. But what about the apps? Are we talking about a whole new world of apps built specifically for XR?
Well, that's the beauty of it. You're not limited to a small selection of dedicated XR apps. All existing Play Store apps are compatible with this headset.
Wait a minute. So I could use my regular phone apps like my banking app or social media on this thing?
You got it. Imagine having a giant virtual spreadsheet open in front of you, or watching a movie on a massive virtual screen.
My mind is blown. That's next level stuff.
It is pretty mind-blowing.
But of course, there will also be spatial apps specifically designed for this headset, right?
Of course. Think fully immersive 3D environments and experiences that are optimized for XR interaction.
Now, you mentioned an example earlier, something about a YouTube app.
Yes. Marquis showed a spatial YouTube app with a multi-window interface.
Oh, wow. I got to see that.
Yeah, you can resize and position windows however you like, even add an immersive background to feel like you're watching videos in a whole new environment.
So cool. And did I hear something about seamless integration with peripherals like Bluetooth keyboards and mice?
That's right. It seems Samsung is aiming for a truly versatile device, blurring the lines between a headset, a computer, and a smartphone.
So I could work on a document, browse the web, and play a game all on this one device.
Potentially, yes. The possibilities are pretty exciting.
Okay, color me impressed. This is already sounding pretty futuristic. But there's one more thing you mentioned that really caught my attention. Gemini.
Ah, yes, Gemini. This is where things get really, really interesting. It's Google's highly advanced AI built right into this headset.
So it's like having Google Assistant, but on a whole new level.
It's more than just a voice assistant. It's like having a co-pilot for your digital world, one that can actually see what you see and understand your context.
Hold on. It can see what I see. So it's not just responding to my voice commands, it's actually taking in visual information from the real world.
That's exactly what we mean by multimodal. It combines your voice commands with visual input and other data to provide a much richer and more intuitive interaction. You can literally ask Gemini about something you're looking at in the real world, and it can give you information about it.
You're blowing my mind here. So, for example, if I was in a museum looking at a painting, I could ask Gemini about the artist or the history of the piece.
Precisely. It's like having a personal tour guide and a walking encyclopedia all rolled into one.
That's incredible. But it goes beyond just providing information, right? Gemini can actually control the headset's interface for you, too.
That's right. You can navigate the entire digital environment without ever having to touch a controller or fumble with menus.
So I could tell it to open apps, move windows, adjust settings, all with just my voice.
Exactly. You got it.
And from what we've seen in the video, it seems pretty responsive and accurate.
It really does. No more struggling with those tiny touch controls on the side of the headset.
Thank goodness for that. But it gets even better, right? Gemini can also interact with apps on your behalf.
Oh, it can. Imagine you're walking down the street and spot a restaurant that looks interesting.
Yeah.
You could simply say, "Hey, Gemini, show me the menu for that restaurant." And it would pull up the menu right there in front of you, superimposed on your real-world view.
No way! Seriously?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it could be incredibly useful in all sorts of situations, not just for finding restaurants.
Absolutely. It's really about merging the digital and physical worlds in a way that feels seamless and intuitive. And it's all powered by the incredible capabilities of Gemini.
Okay, I have to admit, this is starting to sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But if it's this advanced, are there any downsides? Is it all sunshine and roses?
Well, it's important to remember that Gemini is still under development, so it's not perfect yet. There are occasional bugs and glitches, and some of the functionality we're used to with Google Assistant, like liking YouTube videos or creating calendar events, isn't fully implemented yet.
Gotcha. So it's a work in progress, but with massive potential. It's like
Yeah.
they're building the airplane while it's already in the air. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's exciting to see them pushing the boundaries of what's possible, even if it's not quite ready for prime time yet.
But even with those glitches, the potential of this technology is mind-blowing. And there was one other feature that really stood out to me, that circle to search thing.
Oh, yeah, that's a cool concept.
It sounded almost magical.
You hold down a button on the headset, use your finger to circle a real-world object, and Google searches for it. It's like having a search bar overlaid on reality.
But I seem to recall Marcus mentioning some issues with that feature, right? Some bugs that need ironing out.
Yeah, it seems like if your hand is inside the circle when you're trying to select an object, it sometimes takes a screenshot of your hand instead.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they still have some work to do on refining the accuracy and reliability.
Well, gotta leave something for version 2.0, right? But even with the glitches, the potential of this technology is just mind-blowing. Imagine being able to instantly identify anything you see in the real world just by circling it with your finger.
The possibilities are pretty much endless.
It really feels like we're getting a glimpse into a future where information is seamlessly integrated into our everyday lives. And this is just the beginning.
Right. As the technology matures and developers start building more sophisticated apps, who knows what kind of amazing things we'll be able to do with this headset.
Okay, so we've covered the hardware, the software, the mind-blowing AI. What does all of this mean for the future of XR? Where do you see this technology going?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think this Samsung headset, even in its prototype stage, gives us a glimpse into a future where XR is no longer a niche technology, but a fundamental part of how we interact with the world around us.
It's like the early days of the smartphone when we were just starting to realize the potential of this little device in our pockets. Now we can't imagine life without them.
Exactly. And I think XR is poised for a similar trajectory. We're going to see this technology integrated into more and more aspects of our lives, from education and healthcare to entertainment and social interaction.
It's exciting, but also a little bit daunting to think about all the ways technology could change our world.
It is a lot to take in.
But for now, I think we've given our listener a lot to chew on.
Definitely. And this is just part one of our deep dive into Samsung's secret Android XR weapon.
When we come back, we'll take a closer look at Marquise Brownlee's hands-on experience with the headset and explore some of the potential use cases and implications of this groundbreaking technology.
Welcome back. It's amazing to think about all this stuff we just talked about.
I know, right? It really feels like we're on the edge of something huge with XR.
And this Samsung headset, it really feels like the future of it.
So let's talk more about the experience of using this headset.
Yeah, in the video, Marquise was saying how Android XR and Gemini have so much potential,
He even said it was like a concept car.
like a prototype for what XR can be.
Yeah, and all the stuff in it, XR, AI, spatial computing, it's like they took all the coolest tech and put it together.
It's crazy how familiar it all seems, and also so futuristic.
And the way they integrated Gemini, it all seems so seamless.
Definitely makes it feel like a whole new way to use technology.
So it's not just convenience, it's like a totally different way of thinking about technology.
Exactly, like instead of using screens and keyboards, we're using our voices and hands.
And that brings up accessibility. This headset seems so user-friendly.
Yeah, anyone could use this, even if they've never tried XR.
Exactly. And that's how XR becomes mainstream, when it's easy for everyone.
Do you think this headset could change the XR market?
I think it could. Between the hardware and the software and the AI, it's a really good package.
Plus, you have all the Android developers and users.
Yeah, they could all start making apps for this headset.
That'd be so cool.
Mhm.
Imagine all the new stuff they could create.
But we also need to think about the problems it could cause.
Like what?
Like privacy. This thing can see and hear everything.
True both. Both Samsung and Google will have to make sure they protect our data.
People need to know that their information is safe before they'll use something like this.
So we need to be careful about how we balance privacy and all the benefits of XR and AI.
So let's think about how this could be used in different areas like education.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Hmm.
Imagine students could learn about history in virtual reality.
Or they could do a virtual dissection in biology class instead of a real one.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
It can make learning so much more interesting.
And students could collaborate in virtual classrooms with people all over the world.
It would make learning so much more accessible for everyone,
And not just in schools. Imagine using this for job training.
like training to be a surgeon or learning how to fix an engine.
It would be so much safer to practice in virtual reality first.
What about healthcare? Are there good uses for XR there?
Definitely, we're already seeing it used for things like physical therapy and pain management.
I've heard about surgeons using VR to practice before real surgeries.
It makes sense, right? They can perfect the procedure and reduce the chance of making a mistake.
And XR could help patients feel less anxious and stressed during medical procedures.
So it can help both the patients and the doctors.
And there are also VR apps for things like autism and cognitive decline.
It seems like XR can help with healthcare throughout your whole life.
For sure, as XR gets better, we'll probably see even more uses for it in healthcare.
We've talked about education healthcare. What about entertainment?
Oh, definitely. XR can change the whole entertainment industry.
Imagine watching a movie and you're actually in it.
Yeah, you're not just watching it, you're a part of it.
And it can also help people be more creative.
What do you mean?
Like imagine making art in 3 dimensions or playing instruments that don't even exist.
Oh, wow. The creative possibilities are crazy.
It feels like we're watching the beginning of a whole new form of entertainment.
And who knows what will happen next. The only thing we know is XR is here to stay.
It's going to change everything.
We've talked about so much already.
Yeah, from the actual Samsung headset to all the potential uses.
It's been a really good conversation.
And we've only just begun.
We'll continue this deep dive in a minute.
All right, we're back and whoa, my mind is still trying to process all this stuff about Samsung's Android XR headset.
Yeah, it really makes you think about the future, doesn't it?
We've talked about the hardware, the software, the AI, all the potential. It's a lot.
And we've only scratched the surface. This feels like just the beginning.
It does, doesn't it? Like, we're at that point where smartphones were just starting to get big.
Yeah, back when people thought they were just for calls and texts.
Exactly, and now we use them for everything. So let's recap for our listeners. What are the main takeaways from this deep dive? What should they be thinking about?
Well, first off, this Samsung headset really shows us what's possible in the world of XR. The combination of the hardware, the Android XR operating system, and the Gemini AI makes for a really impressive experience.
It feels like they've finally made XR something that everyone can use and enjoy.
Right. And even though it's just a prototype, it gives us a good idea of what to expect in the future. We'll be able to interact with our digital world in a much more natural and immersive way.
That's exciting, but also a little scary, right? Think about how this could change everything from how we learn to how we go to the doctor.
It's a lot to consider, but that's what these deep dives are all about. We get to explore these new ideas together, Think about the good and the bad, and start imagining what kind of future we want.
So what happens next? Where does XR go from here?
Well, we're all waiting to see what Samsung does when they officially announce this headset.
Mm.
We'll be watching to see how much it costs, what kind of support they offer developers, all that good stuff.
Because the success of any new technology depends on the apps and experiences that are created for it, right?
Exactly. It's up to the developers to take these tools and create amazing new things.
And that's where you come in, listener. We want to hear what you think. What are you most excited about with this new headset? What kind of apps would you want to see? What worries you about the future of XR and AI?
Let's keep this conversation going on social media. We're all exploring this new world together, and your thoughts and ideas are important.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Samsung's secret Android XR weapon. It's been an amazing journey, and we can't wait to see where this technology takes us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.